Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. How's it going, friends? How are we doing? All right, back with another one. But this time we going back to tips. If before I even get further within those, again, I'm no expert, no, not proclaiming to be one. I just want to provide some useful tips, especially for those in console world. And maybe I can help someone out along the way. But before we get into it, how are we doing? Indeed, indeed. All right, y'all. So this is some personal tips that I have for getting started, man. I mean, sometimes I know that's some of the hardest things to do, but here's a few tips for me to you to probably help you along the way, especially with the console creations. So one thing that I've learned is that when coming to a park, I think first defining. Well, for one, have a plan. Have your plan already in mind and what goes into that planning. I mean, this I'm just gonna be honest. I have some so many beautiful creations that I've done, and the most ones that garner attention, etc. Those are the ones that I plan out. And I think rule one when coming down, or one step that when it comes down to planning a situation is identity. Identity for as what kind of situation, what kind of park are you having? Is it a flat surfaced? Is it a terrain park? Is it a visual park? Is it a coaster park? Is it an amusement or theme? You get me? And those, I think, with the knowledge of all those things will come handy to you. Just having a fleshed out identity, what my part stands for, what will it be? Um, Even down to what's the color? Do we have a color? Are we a theme park? Are we an amusement park? Like, what are we? You know what I mean? I think those things are important for as just a general flow of a park. Um, as you see here, this is what I'm doing. This is Fosterlandia, and I'm pre planning it for almost a few months ahead of myself before I even really get you know before I even get too deep within the constructing of this park. I'm defining areas, etc. So this park, I'm definitely already have in my mind that I want a circular situation. But before I get too ahead of myself, I'm just gonna move on and double back on that part. Um, I think secondly, what would be a good idea would be a concept for your first or your main attraction. A concept, a concept of your main or first attraction. I know our first attraction here will be this situation. It'll be a merry-go-round, nicely themed and backed by a floral package. It'll almost be something as a park icon. Just to represent olden days for me. That's what I'm going with. And also, I do have plans on other things like just what rides do I want in my park. And be quite honest, I don't have a full fledged plan quite yet, but I do know I want me personally. I want at least 5 to 7 different zones, each having at least one coaster, if not two flat rides to represent the land. You know, and what I'm going to be doing is a theme park with it. As far as the themed areas. So, but knowing what you want to do, like far as what's the ride type, where's the placement, you know, I think that's very important. So you can foresee having that forethought of proof of concept in your brain or written down. What's my first attraction? What's the type? Where will it be placed? What's the theme? You know, I think that's highly important. That's just for me. And again, I can also I will go ahead and give you an example of what a properly planned park looks like, in my opinion. And to be honest, this is like I think this is a good example. I've foreseen this in my brain from the pathing to the coloring to just everything so far. Everything's according to plan. And I'm personally pleased with what I got, the product I got now. And I'm just, uber ecstatic about the future. So, honestly, just moving forward, proper planning makes perfect. So let me give you guys a quick example of a plant park. I have plenty of parks where I just winged it, but let me show you a park where I plant everything. All right, all right. So here we are at Foster Gardens. Now, this is definitely one of my, I guess we could say, we'll call it proof of concept of what pre-planning on and locking things in mentally, what that'll do for you. And what I did with this part, everything that you see, I mean everything from the way that the park guests enter the park. But everything you see is, I already pre-planned in my brain. I knew well, for one, I wanted this landscape, not so much of interaction with the landscape, this quarry wall, this mountainous piece right here. But I knew I wanted that piece. I wanted that, and I wanted the entry or the roadway at least to follow along it. That was all planned. Um, what was also planned was my entrance plaza. Here you see how the entrance plaza is sprawling wide. I mean, just wide as all outdoors in comparison to everything else. Everything else it fulfills a preordained circumference or width for its pathing, but I knew that I wanted the entrance or the welcoming plaza to be wide. I knew that I wanted it to be lined with shops, information booths, etc. Also knew I wanted a nature piece in the middle with water, sticks and twigs and foliage and stones. I got that. I also knew the identity. For what you see is this is our Halloween fall time overlay. But the general aesthetics of this park was old and southern country. So I came in with that. I knew I wanted a large water piece. I knew I wanted to have an incline of a path layout, a pathing layout. I knew I wanted my pathing system to go upwards. I knew I wanted a roller coaster wooden situation going along that path. And I knew I wanted it to be more of a wildcat style coaster. I knew that. I knew I wanted supreme sightlines. That was my deal. Supreme sightlines, and I say that as in, let me show you. I knew most places, or predominantly everywhere that you walked in my park, I wanted you to have a supreme sightline of the rest of the park. And I think what this does. This park does that to a T. From here, I can see the entrance area. I can see the other half of the park from here. As I go up that incline, as I plant, I stuck true to my theme that I had. So make sure that when you're planning your park, figure out what's your identity. Try to imagine the layout. Try to imagine what style. What's the niche you're going with? Is it a outdoorsy? Is it a whimsical? Figure out what theme you're gonna do, or figure out the multiple themes you're gonna do. This part has a general aesthetic, old western. I do have one non-western area themed, and that was part of the plan as well. Um, can't see it from here, but it's a pirate theme, themed about an attraction for it. Back that way. Also planned out transportation. I knew I wanted my transportation to be right there in front of the entrance where guests had to pass under it. So on both the sides here, the transportation goes over like a bridge like port. The guests walk over and the transportation rides over. And I knew I wanted supreme guest to ride relations, meaning ratio. See how the close proximity of this attraction to the pathing, etc. This attraction to this setting, this attraction to this pathing, everything, especially with this lift hill, this ride coming close to guests, this drop of the ride being highly accessible visibly for the guests to interact with visually. And that was all came with proper planning. And honestly, I say that just to show you the limits of not even limits of what proper planning can possibly get you. I'm not saying this is the best park out there, but for me, this is by far my best situation. This is my best situation that I've ever made. And then everything you see, literally, only thing that didn't get incorporated was the Jaws ride and this Giga coaster. I didn't foresee none of that, but everything beyond that, every single thing, everything was pre-planned. You know. All right. Also, I think a good tip would be go ahead and pre-plan your themes, your themed areas, etc. Now, for this situation, I'm working. I have a goal for this to be worked on more towards the end of this year, etc., etc. So at the moment, at this exact moment, I am doing exactly that. I'm pre-planning, or at least attempting to, just designate areas before I even start building anything to go ahead and have preordained areas. So what I did, I took the terrain tool, got my different colors of terrain here, and I'm designating areas like the land, the shape of the land, et cetera, et cetera. Just a blueprint for me that when I come back, I can have something to work with. And this is a general ideal of the shape of or the circumference of the land that I want. Don't know the theme yet, but I already come behind myself or in front of myself and preordained the land shape and the parameters of that land. For me, I know I want many. I want a plethora of land, so I'm gonna have a bunch of lands this size, some even smaller. You know, and along with that, and another tip I would say is go ahead and try to figure out if you can a preordained or pre-thoughts of your park path layout. What style of layout do you want? And with that being said, that's either like it's going to be a straight linear pier style. Will it be a pinwheel? A pinwheel being meaning a main circle of pathing that has ins and outs where you can locate one side of a park going straight through. You know, it's going to be like a T-bone where you come in with a main street, main street, everything goes either to the left or the right. Far as the path system goes. And I think with all those ideas, well, those few ideas, it'll help you out in the long run. Make it'll make things a lot smoother opposed to just freestyling. You'll probably end up with a completed part that you don't even like. You know, that's just my opinion. I've done my first year on this on Frontier Planet Coaster 2, and I've done several parts. Well, I pretty much don't like it, and I'm not fully enamored with my creation. So definitely pre-plan makes perfect. You know, pre-planning. Also, a good tip I would also say, I mean, and if this is your niche, also have the story. Develop your story. I think that brings energy to it. Then you can start to articulate that with build signages, different things. A story, a backstory, or also with a backstory, you can develop the outside of the city. Is it a township? Um, I mean, just little small things. Anything that can help you develop, pre breaking ground, or pre completion. Definitely develop you, write you down a plan. Having thought and keep to that. I mean, it's your creation, so you could do with it as you want. But this is just a quick tip, especially with those who are working with console. You want to go ahead and try to sketch out what you believe is within that 100 percentile complexity. Go ahead and preordain it. You know. And so for me, I see anywhere between 5 to 6 coasters or less. There's also a concept, many concepts where it's a small park. You ain't got but one major attraction or whatever it may be. Are you a full fledged, You've been around for a couple decades, type of park, a decade park. Are you a fairground? Are you a small entertainment situation in smack dab in the middle of some living areas for your town or townships, wherever it be? Just come in pre-armed with a plan. So definitely, I think in a nutshell, before we conclude this episode or this quick tip, just come with a plan. Whether it's the story, whether it's the you. Firstly, I think is the most important plan is defining your identity. Whether or not you're a theme park, amusement park, because there's are differences between amusements and themes. I would say, ooh, a pier, like the Pier Santa Monica Pier, that could be considered a little mini amusement park. It's there for your amusement. No theme, no nothing. A Six Flags over Georgia, that's a theme park. It has themed sections, several themed sections and areas with dedicated stories with them and such. Are you a whatever it is? Define your identity is super important. Um, and then just utilize the tools that we have. Utilize the tools we have to blanket it. Or you can even come in with words. You can come in with the whole wording situations with the signages. Let's see. Come in with the words or signs, whatever it is. Come in with it and write down. Somewhere in front, wherever, smack dab in the middle. Come through your park and start laying down names for your. For instance, this could be. I just say spooky wood or forbidden forest. Let's say forbidden forest. Oh wow, it's been spelled gore bitten. So let this be the forbidden forest zone. You know, you come in and you can put it to the side of, or put it smack down, however you choose to just go ahead and preordain the theme so you can keep a good mind of that theme. Go around doing stuff like that, doing forbidden forest zone, lake, fountain, main attraction. Just go around with the lettering. So in general, please do come in with a plan before you even start anything. One, come up with your identity. Two, define your path and define your styles. And do some quick researches, man. This is that thing we love. A quick little research, a quick hour or two of, just scaling the YouTube University for things that, you know, our favorite park, your home park, your local parks, or parks that you really are enamored with. Just, do some back research and get active, Get active on that research and define, come back and define what your park is and who you are as a developer, and get cracking with that pre-plan, dude. But with that said, hopefully that helps somebody out, you know. It's not to love. If not, definitely, again, I'm no expert, but hey, man, so many beautiful minded people within this community. If not for me, it's out there. You know what I mean? All right, with no further ado, that would wrap it up, guys. I have nothing else for you. This is your guy, Loud Leave, aka The Voice. And that was my quick tip. You know what I mean? Until we meet again, man, whether it's a full-fledged episode, a tutorial, wherever it may be, however it may be. Keep that self-love high, that self-respect even higher. Therefore, we can interact and love each other better. That being said, I am signing off, and I'm most definitely outie.